every week, every Friday in fact, and I call it Prem Pratidin. It's very, very popular column, lasting for at least 3 years now, and people keep waiting for it. This Prem Pratidin image and counter image is embedded into an echo, and that echo reverberates in my mind all the time. It reverberates through history and through time and space. This echo is also called Dhwani, and now at this moment my mind goes back to the great Kashmiri scholar, philosopher and mystic Anand Vardhan, who wrote a treatise called Dhwanyalok. This Dhwanyalok was a treatise which dealt with the suggestion on light, or light on suggestion, which Dhwani didn't mean sound. In fact, normally we think Dhwani is sound, but it was the poetry, the poesy, Kavya Shastra. And this was one of the first important treatises that reverberates in my mind today. Soon after that, another Kashmiri philosopher, mystic, scholar, Abhinav Gupta, wrote a commentary called Lochana. This Lochana is I. And what is interesting to me today, now, at this moment, is this very hall. This very space that you are sitting in is called Dhwani. I salute whoever has named this space Dhwani, whoever she or he is. I really salute her or him. It's unique. To call a space Dhwani is something which fascinates me. And it goes back to Anand Vardhan, Dhwanyalok. So, at this moment, this echo of history, echo of time, comes to me as Dhwanyalok. Dhwanyalok is suggestion, and here the Lochana, a commentary. The eye and the ear are merging together at this moment. Ear who sees and the eye which hears. You know, the organs of the body are so important that eye is actually very chanchal. Eye is vivacious. Eye gives the message to the brain immediately when it sees it, says something or sees something, but ear is more stabilized. It's more high bhav, as you call it. So this wonderful confluence is inspiring to me. This space, this Dhwani Hall itself is inspiring to me. And here again, I go back to centuries back to history of Natya Shastra, Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra, which still survives after centuries. Can you imagine? These treatises were written centuries back in this country, and they are useful even today in study of performing arts, visual arts, whatever art you name. Natya Shastra is important. I have been teaching Natya Shastra. Last 4 days I had a workshop in this very institute, the students of architecture, and this was fantastic time that I had in this very institute. And I also spoke about cinema prayoga. That's the theory I have developed, and that theory sustains itself on the foundation stone of the rigor of austerity. The rigor of austerity is the main plank of this theory of cinema prayoga. This cinema prayoga and the rigor of austerity go together to suggest, again, as Vyanjana you call it, Anand Vardhan call it Dhwani Vyanjana. This Dhwani Vyanjana also means the cinema prayoga, which suggests that you can make anything without trillions and millions of rupees. You can create something. And today, when I see students in film schools and elsewhere, the mantra is money, and that's why the problem lies. This money mantra has to change. It's the mind that matters. It's the mind and the hand that is created. And for that, we have great examples right from the beginning. Right from the beginning of Indian cinema, Dadasaheb Phalke. Dadasaheb Phalke's first feature film, silent feature film, or India's silent feature film, was Raja Harishchandra. We took the inspiration from this Markandeya Purana story of Harishchandra, the truthful king, which was a play, and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, when he was a young student in Rajkot, had seen this play called Harishchandra. And that impacted him throughout his life, the truth. The truth remains, finally. But truth is not something which can be pocketed. I will be talking about that soon. But what is also interesting is we are celebrating 100 years of another Phalke film called Kali Amar. Was the film that is a well-known about the cobra monster, the demon, Kali, where Balkrishna, the child Krishna, goes into the river or the sea, into the water, and vanquishes this cobra which was terrorizing people, including his wives. And that terror, this divine Krishna was battling against. These demons we are still fighting against right in 2019. Demons are within us, also within outside us. These demons are still sustaining themselves somehow, and we are battling against these demons. There's another film that he made, Dada Phalke, was Sri Krishna Janma, in which the head of Kansa, the evil Kansa, goes out of the frame. And that's an amazing sequence that he could make without any technological aid, almost nothing. You can see this scene which he made without computer, without special effects, without VFX. So what I wanted to say is that my young friends here, young students, that don't get deterred if you don't have enough money, if you don't have millions and trillions of rupees. If someone says that you need 250 crores to make a film, or 350 crores rupees to make a film, don't get deterred by it. You can still make wonders. You can still make great films, and I will give you some examples soon about how in this very country, some young minds have made wonderful films which could be models for you. And one film that comes to my mind right now is called Nain Sukh. Nain Sukh was a miniature painter from the Himalayas, and the filmmaker is young mind from Jammu. He lives in Palampur in the Himalayas, and he made this film called Nain Sukh. The Nain Sukh film, to me, is an example, what's called, where this young filmmaker doesn't get research. He doesn't have millions or billions of rupees or euros. He still makes it possible to make transcendental film, transcendental experience, the spiritual experience. And this is shown to me in my own country. The main argument I have in my mind at this moment is when did human civilization graph started falling down? It did start falling down. At some point of time in history, I don't know when, but it did. The graph which was going high and high, and to me the time is not linear. Time is not a straight line, either upward or downward or linear. It's an octave. Time is an octave, and those octaves had high peaks earlier. Those high peaks had produced great treatises I was talking to you about, including the great epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana. And those high peaks of the octave of time or temporality started falling. And there was not much rise on the octave. And this, I think, is important. And what was the reason? According to me, my assumption is that at the moment I'm seeing a long white cloth, complete white cloth, miles long white cloth, which is unstitched. Happened later. I don't know when, but on this piece of cloth, we stitch something. And that phenomenon that occurs on our body is called pocket. That pocket was born on the tailored cloth. On my body, on your body, pocket came into being. The singularity of pocket became multiplied. And there were many pockets. Pockets on the breast, pockets on the buttocks, pockets on the hip, pockets on the sleeves, pockets on the shoulders, pockets on the collar, everywhere pockets, pockets, pockets. And what does that mean? Pocket to me is not a rhetoric, it's a metaphor. This metaphor of pocket led to what? Storage. This storage led to greed. This greed led to gluttony. All these put together led to some sort of degradation because we thought we are able to pocket something. And the noun pocket became verb on the way. It's not just grammar. This noun to verb is not just grammar, it's also grammar of life, grammar of living, grammar of thinking. And once it became verb, it became to pocket, we started pocketing truth. Once we started pocketing truth, the crisis became graver. And we thought we are able to now pocket truth. We were not in search of truth. We were not in quest of truth. We were not chasing truth. We thought truth could be pocketed. From philosophical point of view, as reflection, as an echo of time and space, I think there were some crises that happened. None of my sages, none of my saints or spiritual fakirs wore clothes that had pockets. Everyone had just simple enveloping cloth, and they were so graceful, so dignified, and so free in their mind. That freedom we lost because of pockets. Mirabai never wore. Actually, pocket is a male phenomenon, not female phenomenon. Even today, Santhal women in Bengal don't wear even upper garments. They just wrap their body with single piece of sari, and still they are living such a graceful, unharmful, dignified life. Something somewhere went wrong, and we call ourselves civilized human beings. I think there is something wrong, and this pocketing truth became a kind of hindrance towards dividing between true and untrue, false and not false. What happened in 20th century or 21st century was we created a new God, and this God I call Googleshwara. This Googleshwara tells you everything. It's omnipresent, omniscient. Without Googleshwara we can't live. And Googleshwara doesn't differentiate between what is false and what is true. It just gives you something. And that is the challenge of our time. How do I differentiate between false and not false, between true and not true? That is the challenge, but then we have to unpocket the truth. The truth has to be chased. Truth has to be constantly questioned. And therefore, Gandhiji called his autobiography Mara Satyana Prayogo. It's imagine. Remember, it's experimented truth. He has not pocketed truth. He is just trying to search truth. And that's what we should be doing in this 21st century. In this art of film production, which is capital intensive, which is believed to be capital intensive, and here is another young filmmaker who is from Kerala. His name is Vipin Vijay, and what he made a small scale society, the film. Most of us, we don't know what is happening actually in the world of cinema, because it's such a publicized world that we are living in. Only thing we know is coming before our eyes. Now this film that Vipin Vijay made, Small Scale Society, is about archaeology, and what he did was amazing. The kind of sensuality that he gives us, the sense of touch that we are lost. The greatest loss of our time is sense of loss of touch. We don't first Anubhav we are losing day by day in digital time, especially. In earlier time, analog time, when the celluloid film was there, the technician will take the film into laboratory, will touch the material and produce something. We don't touch anything now. And that's the greatest loss of our time. And then we are coming back to austerity, and this is the film. You can't imagine what he has done with even with digital media. It's a technology, it can enslave us. The technology can also liberate us. And that liberation marks the path we have to find, how to harness technology towards liberation. So there is one artist that I can think of now, is a great sculptor called Ramkinkarpage. Whenever I go to Shantiniketan, I just stand in front of the Buddha or in front of Gandhi or Sujata that he created. Ramkinkarpage had nothing, no marble, no wood, no metal. he had only the coil, the soil that we call it in Santiniketan. And just he made a few bags of cement and few iron rods. And he created these great sculptures. You can't find Gandhi like this anywhere. The Gandhi, the beige wave. And what he did, he didn't get beaters because he didn't have the wood or metal or marble. He said, even I can make it. And he made such great sculptures. Sujata is just in front of Buddha. Sujata is going to give rice and milk to fasting Buddha. And this is such an experience that we can have, and it's possible only because of austerity. Austerity could be politically incorrect word, maybe in Greece or Western Europe, but not for me. Austerity is part of my life. Austerity is part of my philosophy. Austerity is part of the cosmos that I have created around me, all of you actually. And then we come to the experience of Twani. Twanyalok, if you will, in this very hall of Twani. And here, when I see the crisis of civilization, I am now thinking of heptagon, what I call 7M theory. Because in 20th century, most of the equations had fallen short or had failed. Most of the equations that human being or mankind wants to get happiness for, we experimented with capitalism, socialism, everything. But we have fallen short of it. We are still searching what could be the way to become happy. Mankind I'm talking about, not personal happiness. And this is the heptagon I'm thinking at the moment, which I call 7M theory. Maitreya, Mahavira, Muhammad, Moses, which include Messiah, Mazda, Mahatma. If we can have all of them together like a confluence of rivers, maybe we can find some way to happiness of mankind. Towards the end, I would like you to listen to this sound which one of the Indian films have produced called Satar Se Uttar Admi by Manikal. It is based on Gajanan Madhav Mukti's entire work. He never wrote script of this film, but he created this sound, and just listen to this sound as a meditative exercise, and I'm sure you will understand how Dhwani or Dhwanyalok can be created in this very hall called Dhwani.